Good morning, I'm Judith. This morning I'm going to do my favorite pancake ever. My niece introduced me to these, although she made them with ricotta. I am using mascarpone. Believe me, they're delicious. They are orange and mascarpone pancakes. So to get started, what we need to do is zest and juice our orange. So that's one large Naval orange. We want half a cup of orange juice, depends what we can get out of it. We gotta melt some butter, and then we can start mixing things. In this bowl, we have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just mix that all together. And in this bowl, we have our mascarpone. We're going to mix that with 1 large egg, the orange zest. We have that orange gave us 1/2 cup of orange juice. And you do want to juice it into a separate container and then strain it to make sure there are no pits or bits of pits. We're going to mix this all together. If you want to use a whisk, you probably want to use a bigger bowl. And then we also have the 1/4 cup of melted butter to put in there, and just make sure it cools a little. You don't want to be putting hot butter in with your egg and that it'll curdle. You'll end up with scrambled eggs. Now, I'm not going to add the milk to our wet ingredients because depending on how things work, we may not need all that milk. And it also depends on how thick you want your batter. If you want nice thick pancakes, you probably won't need as much milk. And there is an alternative. If you don't want to use milk, you could use, like I have, plant-based milk. Or, in fact, this has so much flavor in it, you could even just use water. I have done that before, so I don't very often have any sort of milk in the house. Okay. Oh, and almost forgot, something you should never forget. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and I do use the white vanilla just because it doesn't change the color of things, especially if I'm trying to do a white cake or something. I like to keep it as white as possible. There we go. Okay, so now time to mix things together. Just pour all of that in. water here because we are going to need to. I am going to use water today. This batter has so much flavor in it already. I do like this batter fairly thick, as it makes a very delicate pancake. And one thing you don't want to do is try to make your pancakes too big. You do need to make them small. Okay, that looks lovely. Now we're just going to set that aside while we heat our cast iron frying pan. And I do find that cast iron works best when making pancakes. Now, if your cast iron pan is properly seasoned, you shouldn't need to add any oil at all. Mine, the bottom is a bit rough on it. I don't know whether it's not been cleaned properly or what's going on. But I'm just going to wipe it with a little bit of oil. I'll have to maybe give it a good scrub and re-season it later. Now this batter makes very, very delicate pancakes, so you don't want to make them too big. I have a lovely little gravy spoon, which I like to use for the perfect size little pancakes. And my pan is on a low medium. But cast iron does hold the heat really well and distribute it extremely well. So you don't need your pan super hot. Now we just wait till the bubbles appear, and they're already starting on that one. So how do you know when your pancakes are done on the first side? When the bubbles that appear on the top burst and they leave holes that don't fill in, it's time to turn them over. I am usually too impatient and try to turn them too soon. But let's give them another few seconds here. Okay. And as I mentioned, these are very delicate, so you want to be very careful. You may have to turn your pan to get a better angle on them. There we go. And there we have 3 beautiful pancakes. And how do you tell when the second side is done? Well, if you touch your pancake, they're very firm. You give them a few minutes and they should soften up. But do be very careful when you're touching them because that top is hot. They are already getting very nice and soft. Just give them a few seconds to make sure because nobody wants an undercooked pancake. Ooh, that's getting lovely. Lovely and soft. Okay. And make sure you have a plate waiting to receive your lovely pancakes. If you manage to warm it up first, all the better. And here we go with round 2. Now this makes a lot of pancakes. It's a lot of batter. If you don't use it all up right away, put it in a covered container or just cover the bowl and put it in the fridge and it will be good for several days. Let's have a look at our finished pancakes over there. They look so good and I am so hungry. It's almost time for breakfast. So use your favorite toppings. I like raspberries on just about anything. Butter, syrup. You could use powdered sugar. These are the most delicious, delicate pancakes you've ever tasted. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Give me a subscribe. I have just hit 100 subs. I am so happy. So I'm having a celebratory breakfast. I'll see you again soon with another recipe. Thank you so much.